We're not going to yell. That's the one thing I'll say right off the bat. We are not going to yell. Let the jack off audience members in our theater who watch this horror show of a movie with us, let them hoop and holler and make noise and sound like a bunch, like an abattoir full of children. Let them
Yeah.
show the histrionics. Now, that is not to say that we wouldn't be, that no one would blame us if we were as angry and vitriolic as vitriolic is the next angry reviewer on the internet. But we need to show restraint, and we need to word this very, very carefully.
Also, it's really just been taken out of me.
Yeah.
I just don't have anything left to do.
This is...
I'm broken, man. I'm broken. They finally broke me. They finally did it. I don't have it in me to walk out of a theater.
No, it's almost like you're just letting it happen and counting the seconds until it's finally over.
It's like being victimized. But the worst part is that you went into it and paid for it. It's like you brought it upon yourself. Why do we do this? Yes, so that's a question that needs to be addressed. We get tons of comments about asking us why it is that we subject ourselves to these movies, and well, it's a good question if you don't watch the show that much. If you do, you understand probably that this is what we do. We every single week we have to see the new movie that came out, and it oftentimes is down to like two choices. And
I'm just going to let that ring.
yeah. And it oftentimes is two bad movies, more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
And so we usually end up choosing the one that is the more reviewable or more interesting to talk about. Instead of, like, if it's a movie that is just everybody kind of knows exactly how it's going to go, and it's neither going to be really good or bad and just kind of boring, and in which case there's not really a review there to have. So that is why these movies end up getting seen.
Yeah, we just often just go for what would be the movie to have the best discussion about, and it was either going to be this or Jack Reacher, and Boo, Tyler Perry's like a Madea Halloween rather. Tyler Perry's Boo, a Madea Halloween. Is it Tyler Perry's or is it Medea's? I don't know, but at least this looked like it would lead to a lot more interesting discussion than just Tom Cruise's latest ego stroke.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And I was thinking during the movie, I was saying, I think maybe we chose the wrong movie.
It would be a less painful experience, but I don't think... Like, that movie, like Jack Reacher at the end of the day...
I'm thinking of myself here.
Yeah. I mean, that Jack Reacher movie just looked all 10 kinds of awful in that very uninteresting Hudson Hawk-like kind of levels of ridiculous ego strokes.
Like, you see it in a lot of Tom Cruise's movies as of late. As of late.
You know,
it's kind of like there's less redeeming qualities the longer that he continues to make movies, though, and the more of it is just him stroking his ego. So it's, I mean, like you'd see it. What was it? Night and Day was a good example of one of those. Except that it actually had some merit to it. Like, it was actually interesting at parts. It really was. But this one just looked like a really basic, and it didn't look very funny. It didn't look very like it was great action or stunts. It just looked kind of... This is really sad for me. I like Tom Cruise, despite some of his antics.
But
Take it.
Yeah, but with all that said, so we decided, you know what? We've seen a Tyler Perry movie, but we have never seen a Madea movie. You know, let's dive in, shall we? Let's not even ease our way in. Let's just...
It was something new.
Let's
kind
just
of.
we know the reputation. We know that it's going to be annoying as hell, and we thought we were ready, but we weren't. But we simply weren't.
This is our second Tyler Perry movie.
Mm-hmm.
First Madea.
Yeah, first Madea movie.
It didn't make a difference. If anything, it was just worse.
Like I can't rightfully say if this is the worst Madea movie. You know, a series of movies well known for being like terrible, and yet it found its niche audience, and they just love these movies. You know what, Tyler Perry? I don't understand you. I don't think anyone on earth can understand you.
Do you understand yourself?
You could give 10 different psychoanalysts all the time in the world to try to unravel the Gordian knot that is your brain.
But then they'd have to sit through his movies.
I think it's a Herculean task to try to understand this man. But, and it all comes down to this. Tyler Perry is a man who thinks that histrionics and flapping around and talking in gibberish is the utter height of comedy.
And repeating yourself, of course.
Oh, repeating yourself is the utter height of comedy. Some might point it to a race thing, you know, just seeing
Blaxploitation.
you know, just a lot of, you know, like that humor comes from, you know, the fact that Madea is basically this tightly wound, just blabbermouth of a woman talking how, you know, white culture expects black women to talk, and then just playing that up for a laugh. Now, I'll admit that at points in this movie in particular, that there was a heavy implication, like it was kind of racially tone deaf, as it were. But this is not. But at the end of the day, this isn't about race. This is just about people being moronic. This is just straight up idiocy. This is, bar none, the most obnoxious, least funny, almost experimentally bad movie and theater-going experience I have ever sat through. I mean, like, the theater-going experience in, like, say, Civil War was pretty bad. Because, you know, like, anyone like who uses a fucking, you know, like, is using a fucking vape, you know, vapes in the audience is just... It immediately, like, ruins the entire movie. But
nothing is worse than... we went into this movie hoping, or I guess we must have been hoping, that there were a lot of people there who were there for the same basic reason as us. I guess to see it ironically. I mean, that's not really why we were here, but we were hoping that there was like a kind of
like a
common mindset.
Like a contingent of like saying, oh,
like some kind of reason why people are here. Maybe not a great reason to see this movie, but a reason that could be...
it's almost like a dare. What is it? What is the equivalent of a cinematic dare? It's like, I dare you to go see the next Madea movie and sit through the entire thing.
Boy, were we wrong. Boy, were we wrong. There was a better response, a more vocal response to this movie than like sitting through Deadpool or any of the great movies that came out this year. It was people were kicking their seats and applauding and yelling and laughing the whole time. I'm glad that they enjoyed the movie for themselves. I don't want anybody to have to experience whatever the fuck we just saw to that capacity. I'm good for them, but it really makes me question... I'm just going to go out and say it really makes me question the IQ of our audience. Are they just... What I don't understand. Do they release some kind of vapors that we're immune to during this experience that creates some kind of hysteric response? Laughing gas? I don't get it. This is so fucking stupid. I just don't understand why people find this funny. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Now, I'll go one step further than you. Like, I don't care if you enjoyed this movie, but if you enjoy this movie, be respectful of the people in your audience. Don't stamp your feet and kick chairs. don't clap in inopportune moments and talk. All right, he had it pretty bad because sitting to his right were a bunch of assholes just yakking it up and just kicking seats, and he's just feeling it. I, meanwhile, was sat next to this what had to be a 9-year-old girl. This 9-year-old girl who could not, for the life of her, shut up about this movie. She would just go like at inopportune moments where there was nothing to about. She would just go all throughout the movie. She would cackle like a fucking demon when nothing was going on, and she was talking with her mom very, very loudly. It makes me self-conscious whenever I have to tell you something at the theater, because they probably think they were being respectful and quiet. Either that or they didn't care. So that makes me feel about all the times I've ever had to like shift over to you and
You're
say
fine.
something.
Nobody can hear that. They really can't. Sometimes I can barely hear you. You're so quiet.
Yeah.
That's just how respectful you are.
I try to be respectful.
I'm not quite that respectful.
No, there were times when you were just like vocally disapproval rather.
The grunts just come straight up from my core, from my soul.
Sorry about that sudden interruption, but since we completely lost our train of thought about this movie, I think we should just get to the plot synopsis. What little plot there is to go over. So, Tyler Perry's daughter is a bitch and wants to go to a Halloween party, and she doesn't respect him, so he gets Madea and her friends to look after her. She sneaks out to a Halloween party, and the Madea is furious, and then they set up a ghost story that really isn't a ghost story, and then hijinks ensue, and then everyone learns their lesson. That took 2 hours to tell. Yeah. It took 2 hours because every single scene of this movie takes 20 minutes to basically have the plot inch forward like a clockwork fucking turd.
For every good, 10 minutes or 5-minute scenes of people just hollering back and forth at each other and just making, I don't know, kind of jokes. Not really. If you're lucky, you get a good solid joke from the grandpa.
At least the grandpas.
They're bad jokes. They're like they're like borderline dad jokes, but
it's like if your dad was a dirty old man.
Yeah.
Those kinds of jokes. But I want to say, really thinking on it, I can see the vestiges of why Madea caught on. Okay. I can see it, as far as a character is concerned. I can see a lot of people latching onto that character because Madea does feel like a person everyone knows in their life. Some this loudmouth old woman who just has to stick her nose into other people's business.
And who is played by Tyler Perry.
That notwithstanding. But I get why that character caught on. The problem is that character's runtime, rather, has long since expired, and it's just like this shambling corpse of a...
And honestly,
of an idea
the entire trope is kind of gotten old. I mean... I thought it got old a long time ago.
Yeah,
the nutty professor, and when Eddie Murphy was doing it, and then they had what's his name doing it, and
you mean Martin Lawrence?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence. Thank you, from Big Mama and all that. Yeah. And I think it really died a long time ago, but it just keeps staying alive with Tyler Perry. So, and it's the worst of them all. Tyler Perry's. Yeah. It's by far the worst of a really bad genre. It's just...
the big problems with these movies is always the exact same thing from movie to movie. It's just that these characters are loud and obnoxious, and they constantly talk over each other, and it takes 20 minutes to get through a single scene that should have took 4 minutes.
And you could say, you guys just don't understand jive talk.
It's not even, like I said...
It's not even that.
It's not that. It's idiocy. It's filling out the runtime kind of.
If you were to just look at the script, God,
no.
don't do it.
No. I don't think there was a script. I think there was an outline.
Yeah, there was an outline of there was like an outline of what the story was,
And then
an outline of a plot line.
it just feels like Tyler Perry's just like line-a-rama through a good
Yeah.
70% of this movie.
Yeah.
And I've quickly come to the realization that line-a-rama may be my most hated movie making technique.
And it's really being utilized more and more, it seems, in
Because
comedies.
lazy ass directors just let their actors feel like they're, Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery on Whose Line Is It Anyway, that they're all brilliant improvisational artists and that they could do whatever the fuck they want on set. Because, Lord help them, they don't have much else going for them. It's not like this movie is filled with special effects, or it's not like there's action sequences. There's 2 total sets in this movie. 2
Yeah.
total sets in this goddamn fucking movie, and 1 outside location. No, I lie. I tell a lie. There is 3. There is the frat house, where the Halloween party of the movie sets. There's Tyler Perry's house, and there is the cathedral. The church. Sorry, there is a church. Now, here's the funny thing about that church is, towards the end of the movie, where panic is all set up and they're running into the church. It's supposed to be night, but you could clearly see it's daylight outside.
I couldn't tell if that was because it was day or it was because it was the lighting. Because it looked like a light that was shining right through the door.
Yeah,
I think that might have just been one of the set lights.
No, it was daylight because there were like clear windows and you're supposed to be able to
Yeah.
clear blue light.
Oh yeah, those windows.
Yeah.
Back door had a set light, I think, as well. But
Yeah, that's no. It was. They did not build a church set. They did not do that. They went to a church. And then in the middle of daylight, and didn't expect anyone to realize, hey, wasn't this night literally a minute ago? And then when they cut out of the church, it's back to night again.
do you think that they ever actually wanted us to wonder if those were real zombies or it was clown monster things, demons, whatever?
I have no idea. Like the whole horror part of this movie is just a long, protracted practical joke played on Madea and her friends, or whoever they are.
The thing is that it's a practical joke from the beginning because they tell you that they're going to do it. So throughout the entire fucking movie, you're watching the horror take place knowing that the twist, that it's a practical joke.
And here's the thing, though. To get around this, you have to completely suspend your disbelief of what they were able to do to this house. Get this, because they brilliantly set this up at the beginning of the movie, where the one of the people in the frat house is a hacker, and he can hack anything. Therefore, they were able to hack the TV so that it could keep on changing channels and be all creepy. They hacked the plumbing.
They could make the faucets turn on through hacking, apparently.
Hack the planet.
They could hack the mirror.
They could hack the mirror so that way it looks like somebody's writing something on the mirror.
The mirror got moist from
The steam from
steam from a shower or something. Or
Like-
no, it was from the sink.
Yeah, steam from the sink.
The hot water in the sink creates steam, and somehow they were able to make a message write like a finger in the moisture on the mirror in creepy horror movie fashion. And I don't know exactly how they were able to do it. Like, hacking aside, I don't know how they were able to do it.
No, they hacked the mirror. How do you hack a mirror? I don't know.
Hacking aside, that would be an impressive feat. I thought you'd have to have somebody like behind the wall that's somehow able to. That's a lot of work. But they didn't even do that. They hacked it. They hacked it.
They just hacked. They fucking hacked it.
They didn't show anybody doing it.
Of course, they just.
We didn't get any like hacking segments.
Although that would have been
That would have been awesome.
That would have been
They
hysterical.
would have made this movie actually funny at a certain point.
Like if somebody just whipped out this freaking like Apple notebook, and he's just typing away.
We need more scary. We need more scary.
Like all of a sudden, and I'm into their faucets.
And this movie is filled with like really creepy messages, as per I guess Tyler Perry movies.
Like ass backwards thinking.
Like ass backwards thinking, and then trying to like justify it or kind of kid gloves at a certain point. Like I didn't really mean that, but I totally did. But I didn't mean it. So basically, they're talking about beating the shit out of their children, and apparently, okay, so apparently, Tyler Perry, not Madea, but the Tyler Perry man character, the father. Don't give a shit what his name is.
Yeah, just let's say like Medea is Medea. Tyler Perry is just Tyler Perry.
Tyler. Oh, and yeah, when we first see Tyler Perry, all the girls, the teenagers, like 17-year-olds, or I guess some of them are supposed to be 18. I don't get them. But
oh yeah. Like there's a great actually moment where at the Halloween party, some douche looks at Tyler Perry's daughters. Does this look 17 to you? You know what? Fuck you, movie. She doesn't.
Yeah.
Even though she's supposed to be 17, she's...
It's like, don't draw attention to the fact that your actors are actually over 18, over 20, whatever.
They're in their 30s.
Yeah. But anyway, so Tyler Perry, the first thing that happens when he walks onto the set is one of the girls says, "Oh my God, he's so sexy."
Your dad's
just like, your dad's so hot. It's like, no, he's not. But that's really nice of you to write into your script, Tyler Perry. I mean, he even has moments throughout the movie where it's like he's trying to write people thinking that he's hot as Madea, but then he knows that he can't do it. So he immediately covers it up with a, "Ew, you're actually a man,"
but not really.
It's like, "Oh yeah, let's see your tits." You know, it's like, "Oh, you want to see my tits? Yeah, here we go." And it's like, "Oh man, those are real." It's like, "Yeah, they're real." It's like, "Oh my God, it's like let's feel them and everything." It's like, "Oh, they're wrinkly and gross." It's like, what are you trying to do, Tyler Perry? You're so confused.
I think what that scene was. He goes, Medea goes to a Halloween party, gets stopped by some frat boys, and they're thinking that it's a man in drag. Medea is a man in drag. Medea is a man in drag.
Yeah.
But to the continuity of this movie, Medea is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's like, we just wanted to see your tits, and not to say see your tits as in we wanted to see tits. They wanted to see their tits to see, how does he get them to be so lifelike? And then they slowly wait a minute, no, we're feeling some old woman's real tits. Was
that what they were going for?
That's what I think what they were going for. But it came across so amateurish that it felt like the world's most awkward rape scene.
Yeah, I know. Well, they didn't present that right then because it didn't come off that way.
I'm thinking that's where the joke was supposed to be. And all right.
But honestly, I don't know what Tyler Perry's game is here.
Yeah, because not only is Tyler Perry not realizing where the joke is.
Yeah.
But he's also somehow learned to be self-referential and self-aware, which is even more obnoxious. Like when he has Tyler Perry's father character, who basically is playing Father Clump in this role, basically makes several insinuations that Tyler Perry is actually Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Like Madea is actually Tyler Perry by saying, we're talking... The conversation, as in this movie, just meanders all over the place.
It keeps... Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It meanders all over the place, so the conversation eventually went to one of the characters saying, I can only piss a few drops. And the father character just screams out, it's like, something wrong with your prostate. You got your prostate cancer. And Medea's like, no, woman ain't got no prostate. And he just makes this slow look towards the camera. Says, you will very well know that you got a prostate. Gee, I wonder what Tyler Perry is trying to do here. And then to completely remove all pretenses all pretense whatsoever, during the climax of the movie where they all believe they're under attack by killer clowns. Oh yeah, all the frat boys are dressed as killer clowns because, of course, they are. Medea goes up to the attic thinking that she's going to die, and Uncle Grandpa, I'm just going to call him Uncle Grandpa because I don't give a shit. Uncle Grandpa Uncle Grandpa just chimes in like, if she don't ever come back, I would just want her to know that she's totally a dude.
Let me assure you, Tyler Perry, that the audience knows you're a guy. I mean, we don't think these are two separate characters, and it's not like you telling us these little slips like, oh my God, really? No. In case that's what you were thinking. I'm sure that's not, but just in case.
Yeah, if you
we know those are both you.
And we are also very well aware that sometimes you can break the fourth wall with a wink at the audience to have a joke with them
Yeah.
at supposedly the movie's expense. But what you're doing is the equivalent of a little 8-year-old with a joke book bugging his mom to the point of day drinking with a new. You say,
Yeah.
"Mommy, why did the guy throw the clock out the window? Cause he wanted to see time fly. Mommy, why are you turning on the vacuum cleaner? Mommy, listen to me, Mommy."
So, the weird thing is, it's the presentation. It often feels really weird in a way that's like, it feels almost like this is a part of Tyler Perry. Like maybe he is some kind of gender fluid, trans something or other. I don't know how he identifies, but it sometimes feels like this is a part of himself, and he wants to express it because he keeps doing it. And it feels sometimes like it's a genuine part of himself that he wants to express, which I respect, but that he's too afraid to do it in earnest.
Yeah, well, there has been a lot of speculation that Tyler Perry's gay. I mean, like, you're not the first one to try to make that assumption. Like, Aaron Magruder, the creator of the Boondocks, had an entire Tyler Perry episode where it's basically Tyler Perry is a closeted gay man. And, excuse me. So, I mean, it's entirely possible, but whether or not this is his outlet for his own frustration, the audience members have to suffer through it.
I don't know.
Or, in our case, thoroughly enjoy and make sure that anyone else in the audience can't enjoy because they're hooping and hollering like fucking howler monkeys. So, like, the entire movie is like a barrage of scene after scene of unfunny, continuously characters continuously talking over themselves, and like trying to single out memorable moments of horridness in this movie. We already talked about like the jokes that don't fly bad. Let's talk about the ending, where in order to get the frat house back, they stage the most elaborate police prank in the world, where Madea just happened to call all her people in the neighborhood, organized a police bus, and arrested everyone in that in the frat house under suspicion that they murdered one of the Tyler Perry's daughter's friends because, you know, she has good makeup and everything. And then they just like threaten, and then as they're on the bus, both the men and women in that they do a bunch of like prison rape jokes on the bus. So Lavelle Crawford's on the bus, and he's just looking at one of the frat house boys. Is like, when you drop the soap, and it's slipping all over the place.
The soap's just everywhere, flying all over the place.
Yeah, so it's so romantic, and they're all freaking out. But then it shifts to the women bus, and then they're making prison rape jokes to
Actually,
the 18.
I think that the women's bus and the men's bus was the same bus.
Yeah, it was the same, but
that it had
partitioned off. Yeah, it was partitioned off. So like now they're making like other rape jokes to
and I don't think that ever happens. I don't think they ever have the same bus for both women and men.
That is the least of this movie's problems.
I know it's the least of the movie's problems.
What I'm thinking is like,
but that's not going to stop me.
That was a particular low point for me because it made me realize this is an equal opportunity prison rape joke.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever seen that. So, I mean, you could debate the merits of trying to make jokes about rape all you want,
but at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, whether or not you can actually make a rape joke funny, the deal is they certainly did not make this joke funny at all.
No,
it just was really creepy, and it was really creepy, and it was just kind of like. I felt like, how in the world is this rated PG-13?
Oh yeah, and going back to the creepiness of the of their humor and their, I guess, messages that are intertwined. So, but
like the beating kids.
The beating things. Let's go to the extent. We didn't actually elaborate on his uncle, grandpa, and the rest of them are all trying to convince Tyler Perry to beat the shit out of his children. his daughter, his one daughter specifically, the 18-year-old, 17-year-old.
The 30-year-old, 17-year-old, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, he's like, no, I don't want to do that in this day and age. I could go to jail, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, you're such a little bitch ass. Why don't you slap the shit out of her? And you sit through this for a long time of them talking about this, just like a good, like 10-minute scene, and then constantly brought up again throughout the movie. And it comes out that that Uncle Grandpa apparently threw him off a roof. Tyler Perry threw his son off a roof, and there was a pencil in his pocket, a number 2 pencil, and it pierced. And it pierced one of his balls. And you know where they got that joke, right? There was a movie with Sandra Bullock. I forgot the name of it, but where she was. It's an older movie, but.
I actually, this is news to me.
Yeah. So there's this older movie. I think it was in like the late '90s with Sandra Bullock, maybe the mid '90s or something like that. But God, I'm trying to remember who the. I remember the face of him. This is another one of those situations where I remember a movie that he doesn't. At least I remember the movie, but I can't remember the specifics. But so here's the movie, and the person that she's interested in apparently got in an accident where a number 2 pencil or something, or a pencil pierced his. He was in a basketball accident where the pencil pierced one of his balls. And I'm just remembering that movie, and I'm like, I wonder if he actually did watch that movie, because it's very similar. It was a comedy as well, so romantic comedy.
Yeah. So don't be surprised somewhere down the line in a Madea movie where a character says like, one time I was using the bathroom and then I saw this girl who I wasn't supposed to, so I tried to zip up my fly and I got my balls trapped in the zipper.
Yeah,
and I missed prom because of it. Isn't that wacky? And then I made her later, and I accidentally got my cum in her hair, and then she had like this weird cow look. Oh, you should have seen it. It was really funny. If you're gonna rip off other comedies, rip them off. Don't tell us that you ripped it off. You couldn't even rip it off properly. Oh man.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's like when you have the material that he has, though. Is ripping off really the worst thing you can do?
No.
But he didn't do it properly, so it just kind of goes back to square one.
So he just kind of fucked it all up all over again. Oh, God, I know. There was another time where he stole a joke. I couldn't remember the specifics of it. It was towards the end where it was like, it might have been something that the Uncle Grandpa said. Like, I recognize that from somewhere. Oh, God, I don't want to watch this fucking movie again.
I don't fucking think so, man. You go for it.
If it ever comes out to DVD, I'm just like, I'll rent it once just so I can find that joke again, because I know he got it from somewhere.
Yeah. But here, if he gets it. Maybe over here.
No. I'm not going to fucking bother with this. Look, there's a reason why this vlog is lit. Not as well as our usual vlogs, because
we really just fuck it.
Just like fuck it. We just need to vent for a little bit.
We just need to explain.
Yeah, and if he weren't driving soonish, we'd be drinking right now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And there's So is there anything else to cover?
Like, aside of the general horridness of it and specific instances that you kind of get lost in the shuffle, because specific instances of is sort of covered up by the fact that it's a line, and trying to pick out a line in a Madea movie is like trying to pick out a poisoned needle in an equally poisoned haystack.
A poisoned haystack.
Either way,
those things are kind of sharp if you hit them wrong,
But like you get like brambles or something like that. It's just
it's like trying to pick out a poisoned needle in a stack of needles.
And the only way you can feel it is just like pricking yourself over and over and over and over and over again until you find the one that gives you hives. And
what's your reward? You find the one that gives you
hives or something like that.
Woo! That's a Tyler Perry movie.
I think we need to close out this discussion, though, by asking one serious question. I said that this was the worst, this is definitely the worst theater going experience we've ever had for Sage Versus, bar none. Absolutely bar none. I mean, like, a person vaped during Captain America, but in ruined what was probably an alright movie.
For me, that was the most like disrespectful, because everybody else was being, just fine. It was it was a movie I really was interested in, that I really would have enjoyed, and I think I would have had a better review of without that goddamn experience. So for me, that was the most standout, like, bad theater experience.
I mean, in terms of a theater ruining a movie, that is the worst.
Yeah.
Now, you could make the argument that this theater, this theater made the movie better, because if you enjoyed this movie, if you're the kind of person who enjoys this movie, you want to enjoy it with other people. But if you don't enjoy this movie, seeing other people enjoy it makes you lose your faith in humanity a little bit. So, the movie's bad enough.
This was more depressing.
Yeah,
for me.
like, the movie's bad enough on its own, but seeing other people enjoy it, just you feel crestfallen. I explained this feeling to Gabe as we were walking out of the theater as feeling like we just got out of a war.
You didn't need to explain it. I was there. It was like getting out of a war, and you're like the only one in your platoon who survived, and the rest of your platoon had a family and children, and you didn't, and you're just completely empty inside.
You were just...
It's that... this movie was that kind of bad.
Yeah, so that is, bar none, that is the worst theater going experience. Now, I'll take it a step further. Is this the worst movie we have ever seen on Sage Versus?
That brings us back to Neighbors, of course. And that's the one movie that beat us, that we walked out of.
But you know what? There is more... You could say better things about Neighbors than you can about Tyler Perry, because than you can say about this Madea movie, because at the very least you could point at Neighbors saying, well, there's actual filmmaking technique there. The movie actually has sets, and even though the humor is Linorama humor, and we were just annoyed to fucking death by that movie, it's not like this movie's has better Linorama. It's worse Linorama.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, they cover it up with like kind of jive speak and use that as like an excuse.
Nobody calls it jive. Like, what do you think this is, 1978?
Well, okay, what should I call it then?
Don't call it anything. Just call it idiot speak, because
don't call it jive speak. Call it idiot speak.
Call it idiot speak, because this is not. This has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with just being a fucking idiot.
Blaxploitation.
Like,
I was very blaxploitation. It was very the name of the school was Yo.
The name of the frat house.
The frat house was YO. It was Yo.
It was the Greek alphabet. I forgot what was it? Upsilon.
It had the side.
Yeah, Upsilon something rather. But the point,
the whole thing was. This is not new for Tyler Perry movies. He has these ridiculously over the top like
caricature.
Yeah.
It's literally taking the Hollywood caricature of a black person and how they think they speak, and then presenting it completely sincerely, or at least it's almost like, how Tracy Morgan just talks like a proto-Negro, like no, and then Leslie Jones kind of carry that even further. This feels like even though like they're trying to play it ironically, you can make an argument that they're playing the character ironically. Yeah. Therefore, there's a certain edge to it. This is like if black people were a minstrel show. They actually put on a minstrel show, and were sincere about the art of minstrel. It's horrible to say, but you sit through that movie. You sit through this movie and try to tell me that they don't come off like the biggest fucking idiots in the world.
Yeah, it's idiot speak, but it's also it's like they're trying to cover up that they have no material by being unintelligible.
Yeah,
and in a way that is really quite.
Yeah, Neighbors was the worst 30 minutes. Worst 30 minutes that we decided to eject ourselves out of. Now, is this movie worse than Neighbors? I say yes. because this is
you didn't have to see
yeah,
it. That's why.
you know, like yeah.
But no, you know what? I mean, Gavin loved Neighbors,
Gavin loved Neighbors.
so that's something for Neighbors, I guess. So
So, like, it could very well be that the movie got better the moment we left the movie, but those were like a terrible 30 minutes, and we just decided that it was not worth sitting the rest of the movie. Now, having gone through that experience, I say that we'll never ever let another movie beat us ever again. By God, our limits were tested tonight, more so than any other movie we've ever sat through the entirety of.
this is the first movie I think where for such a long period of time I just kind of had to lean over on the side of my chair and just close my eyes and try to shut out at least the visual part of this atrocity,
You know, like
and allow my ears to get fucked right through both, colliding in the middle, and then just
yeah, like I was much the same way. I just kind of looked to the side. I just didn't want to see this movie. I wasn't even. I tried not to pay attention to the movie. It was this. This movie assaults you, both on the visual and on an audio level, of just like sheer annoyance and stupidity. So at the end of the day, I have to say that this is the worst movie we've ever sat through on Sage Versus.
yeah.
The worst movie. I would rather. I don't know. Like if you ask me point blankly, would you rather sit through this or Divergent? I'd have a more difficult time. I mean, like, because it's a sort of a give and take situation. Like Medea's Halloween is more obnoxious than Divergent, but it's also shorter. So it's sort of like, I mean, you feel every single minute of that movie. Don't get me wrong. That's a 100-minute movie. So you're just like, but would you rather be boiled alive for 100 minutes or be skinned alive for 150 minutes?
This movie had a twerk scene in it.
So at least you could see twerking and see this half-assed Tyga concert. By the way, Tyga is in this movie, and I couldn't have loved his exit more.
Oh,
as
that
soon
was
as,
great.
Yeah, as soon as Tyga, somehow this frat house got Tyga. Okay, falling on hard times. Falling on hard times since Young Money? Yeah, that was Lil Wayne's posse of up and coming rappers back in 2009. I want to say, yeah, I guess those residuals have kind of dried up, and he's trying to shill for work in Tyler Perry movies. He goes on, doesn't even really rap. He just kind of mumbles to a beat, and then police shut down the police shut down, and then Tyga comes. Police shut down the party, and then the people are on the stoop. The people on the stoop watching people file out. Tyga comes by and says, like, "Hey man, thanks for coming." It's like, "Oh man, I'll see you later, bye." And like, he's walking away, but one of the frat house.
It's like, I don't play no popo.
Yeah, like one of the frat guys is stopping him, literally restraining him with a hug, trying to get him for a hug. And Tyga realizes, I got a hug, so he just does one of these, and then walks away immediately. He never stops walking away.
And I think that he really didn't stop walking away. I think he walked off the set onto anything else. Just anything.
He was.
It's like he's like, I haven't stooped that low yet. Oh shit! I have.
I flashed back to that Patton Oswalt bit where he was describing that when him and his wife interrupted an orgy, and one guy in the orgy just says, "Well, I'm leaving, goodbye," and he just opens the slide door and he's just walking into the trees and bushes in Beverly Hills, just trying to get out of that situation. This character, Tyga, is fuck squash in this movie. Fuck Squatch.
Trying to think about better things. This film was such an atrocity, and I really just cannot understand how anybody could enjoy this. No matter how low your standards are, I just don't understand. I just can't get it. I cannot get it.
Yeah.
I almost felt like I was the one being pranked this whole time, actually.
You're not.
'Cause I was expecting, like, at the end of this, I'd be walking out there, and seeing everybody how they threw their trash not in the trash can, and I'm walking out to the car, and they'd be like, I'm just gonna stand there and wait for it. It's like, turn around. It's a joke, right? When are they gonna come out and show me the real movie?
It's like
That was a paid audience, right? You just want me to give up on life.
No, like if I was really trying to prank you on that, like after you sat through that movie and would get into the car, it's like, well, what'd you think of the movie? And then all of a sudden, Kevin Nash is in the backseat.
I was
like,
gonna say,
I love this movie.
It's like, this is my latest WWE gift. Fuck you.
Oh, this is beautiful. Oh,
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you back. No more lame, awesome gifts for you. There's.
just gonna keep on giving you Kevin Nash gifts.
Dear God. It's like, now at this point, I don't know which is worse: is Zack Ryder
Full body
full
cut.
body, fat head or whatever, or a frickin' Kevin Nash one. I don't know if I got lucky or if which is.
Oh, this is beautiful. No, my trolling powers have increased in time. I've reached maximum troll level. It's beautiful.
Oh man, a Kevin Nash comic made material would have been better than this.
Would definitely be more.
A movie adaptation of the Kevin Nash comics would have been probably really interesting. To be honest, because it's not possible.
Yeah, like I said, not since Hudson Hawk have we
Yeah.
seen such a blitheringly idiotic, ego-driven star vehicle. But I think we've said all there is to say. Fuck this movie.
Worst movie on stage versus.
Very much so. Till next time.